Hey friends of mine, welcome to another Tech Tuesday, and today is so beautiful, y'all. That's why I'm late. I'm just going to be honest. Today is too beautiful. Dusty and I decided to go take a really pretty walk in the sunshine, and I'm also drinking Clearly Canadian. So I wish I could say they were sponsoring my episode tonight. They're not, but if you have not tried the favorite drink of the 90s, Mountain Blackberry is my personal favorite, so you should totally get into that. But anyway, tonight is not about Clearly Canadian. It's about what happens when you have new students in your class. I want to go ahead and get started with telling you, as always, kind of the why behind my post. I write about things I feel like that not everybody's writing about, and that's my goal. I don't want to tell you things that people have already told you before. But just to get into my background, if it's your first time tuning in, I'm Suzy Lolley. This is my crazy face here. It's big, but that was the best. That was the best layout they had on WordPress at the time. So there you go. But I just want to remind you, I'm coming to you from SuzyLolley.com. So if you are looking for good blog posts that you can follow and receive in your inbox every single week, then I post every Wednesday. I go live on Tuesday. So lots of articles up there now, probably 20-something articles. It's a newer blog, but have been trying to get some good content out since December. So go ahead and follow me if you are not already following me on WordPress, and you'll get some really good stuff there. But anyway, SuzyLolley.com. So tonight we are talking about what happens when you have new students. And I have a reason for this, and we're going to get into the down and dirty. I'm going to show you specifically, some paperwork I'm going to walk you through. But I want to talk about two different high schools I taught at. Now, I've taught for 15 years. My last 4 years have been as an instructional technology specialist here in Georgia. But before that, I taught 11 years of middle and high school. And in that time, each school that you teach has a little different. So if you've never moved schools, you may not know this, but I went from a school where absolutely you scheduled your classes over the summer, and after maybe the first 48 hours of school, of the semester starting, you were not allowed to change any classes. So if you thought over the summer, I want to be an honors lit, which is what I taught, then after a couple days, you're not dropping out. Then I moved to another school where the policy was more flexible, and I was receiving, I'm going to call them honors dropouts, but I don't really mean that they were dropping out of school, but they decided they did not want to take honors. And so I was teaching regular level there. And I was receiving, people who dropped levels up through 4 weeks in the semester, plus new students that you normally get, coming in. So I had to have some kind of a policy, because I'll be honest, I had a talk with a parent one time. I'll say a talk to say it nicely, where I had given the student who was one of those, moved out of honors, moved into my class several weeks into the semester, and I had given him some things that he needed to do so that he could be caught up with the class. Of course, I wasn't going to make students go back and catch up on everything, but I wanted students, to have a foundation. And so I had given him these directions, I guess orally. I don't remember if I wrote them down at that time, but it turned into a huge altercation where, the parent said I did not give him that information where I knew I did. So I wanted to really cover my hiney. That's how I say that here in Georgia. And I came up with what I'm calling the student packet. And I'm going to go over and just show you a preview of that. And I know the screen is smaller from where you're looking, so I'll make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to be sharing this on my blog post tomorrow. So you have to actually go to the post tomorrow, or go ahead and follow my blog tonight. It's, again, SuzyLolley.com. You can just click the follow button when you get there. If you have any trouble, let me know. But you're going to actually get a link to this packet that you could tweak for however you want it to. And I'm also going to share with something I'm very excited about that I'm going to be publishing to the Canvas LMS Commons tonight while you're live on the call. Okay. So anyway, I want to show you my new student packet. But first of all, I want to tell you kind of how I came about with even creating this. So I just told you, the parent was the huge impetus, but students have background that they need before they join the class. For example, I was a lit teacher, and so I'm just going to come down and kind of skip ahead here. But I had a packet that I used to go over with students the first time I taught them how to write a literary essay. It's a huge undertaking to teach students how to write. So if you're an English teacher, I want to hear you give me an amen over here in the comments. No matter what the grade level is, and hopefully we're building on that strategy every year. But I really had a lot of students come to me that just did not even know how to do basic structure of writing, and also did not know how to integrate quotes properly, things that you need to do when you're writing about literature, which we were most of the time. And so I had, like, for example, a packet that I would walk them through, and spend 2 weeks on when we were first learning how to write, and then would revisit for every different piece of literature. Students who were new to my class, it's not like we weren't going to be writing. So they needed to catch up on that. So you're going to have to go back and give students prerequisite information. That's one reason that you want to provide some kind of a packet. Also, there are some things that you forget to give a new kid. Their syllabus might be obvious, but what about how to get to your LMS? What's your code for Remind 101? I know I still call it that. I know it's just Remind. What are some different things they need to know to log into Noodle Tools or Turnitin.com or you name it? What are they going to need to know as far as procedures go to get ready for your class? And then also you want to have a one-stop shop. So even though you might be telling students this information, what's one place they can visit? Well, enter what I called in a really fancy way, the new student packet. Okay, so what I did was I gave students a folder, and I'm thinking elementary school here, but I taught high school, and what's good for the goose is sometimes good for the gander. And so I would give students a folder that had prongs and then pockets. And so in those pockets, I had them labeled, again, elementary school style. I had them labeled read and keep, and then sign and return. So if there was anything like this where I needed the parent's signature on that, then I would have that in the sign and return. I also had had a label just on the outside that said new student to remind them of that. And I reminded them that I needed the folder back. I didn't want to, I'm slightly tree hugging, and so I didn't want to have to give them a new folder every time or have to get one of those for every new student. So the structure of it stayed kind of the same. Okay, let's walk through what I put in that packet. First of all, I'm a huge fan of the number system, and I'm just going to tease you here because I'm going to spend a whole episode talking about the number system in the next week or two. And so one of the things I did was assign my students a number that they use for several tasks for the whole year. And so one of the things that would be in that folder, you can see right here, this is my actual new student packet, is I would give them a number, and I took attendance on the board. I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'll mention this again in my numbers episode. I forgot to take attendance all the time, y'all. That's terrible, okay? I lived in paranoia that I was either going to A, lose my job, or B, a parent's going to come looking to check out a kid, and I'm like, where is that kid? So I know how important attendance is, but if you've been a teacher for more than 5 minutes, you know that students are at your desk within the first 5 minutes asking you questions, doing all kinds of stuff. So I would honestly just forget to write down attendance. And so I came up with a system that was really obnoxious, and it really helped me to remember to take attendance. So on my smartboard, students had a set of numbers on the left that said slide over to the right. Like one side said absent, one said present. So by default, all the numbers were on the absent side. And when you came in, you just passed by my board, which was touch if you're using a smartboard, and just slid your number over to the right. Okay. So one thing the students needed to know was how to take attendance and what their number was. So I would write that here. We'll talk more about how the number system works again on another episode. Okay. They also needed a syllabus. So at this time, and we're going to talk about how I would have updated this if I had an LMS. We're getting to that. But I would always make sure they had a copy of the syllabus in the folder. And then also, the idea with that is to have a syllabus quiz. Anybody can sign the syllabus, but what if they could get a real grade for doing a real activity and it ensured that they had really read and taken your syllabus quiz? That's kind of cool. You could even, if you wanted to, I've heard a twist on this, is have a parent take the syllabus quiz, because the parents are really the ones that you want to make sure understand your information, and then the kid would get a grade for it. So whatever you feel comfortable with on that. Also, you would want to, again, provide background information. In my case, it was how do you write a literary essay, but what do your students need to know? Maybe it's some formulas in a math class that you've covered multiple times in the year. Any kind of information that you're like, you know what, we revisit this all the time. Certain vocabulary words, whatever the topic may be, if they're going to need it more than once, make sure you put that in your packet. Okay, back in the day, y'all, this is old school, and that's how you know I'm telling the truth. I'm a real teacher. This has been, from the last time I was teaching, which I've now been in a new position for 4 years. So 5 years ago, we used Moodle for some of what an LMS could do. I know Moodle can be an LMS. I was probably not as full-fledged as I could have, but I would have them join my Moodle class. Nowadays, this would be replaced with Canvas. If you're using Edmodo or Schoology or It's Learning, whatever it is, give them that information to set up their LMS. What else did they need? I was an English teacher, so if you have a Turnitin.com account, then you might need them to connect to that. What's so cool is that now Turnitin.com works with a lot of LMSs, and so you could actually have them just join your LMS and it'll do some plagiarism checking for you. But again, I'm just kind of showing you some thoughts, and then you can run with this. I also gave the kids, you'll see where it says email me for credit when you've done this. I was into the habit back then of giving some checkoff grades because I didn't want the kid to have an empty grade book. And I'm going to tell the truth here, as my pastor used to say, tell the truth, stay in the church. Although we could have Liars can still come to church, just to clarify. But when I was teaching, I was not a big giver of completion grades. However, if you came into me with lower than, like when I saw your transfer grades and they were 45, I was not going to let you start my class with a 45. I would start you with a 70. You know, it would be higher if your grade was higher, but at least a 70, and then try to give them some of these grades where they could get credit for doing some things I needed them to do anyway. Would I still do that today? I honestly don't know. And then I also had them sign up for my text reminders, which was my code for Remind. Again, Canvas LMS will do that, but if you are still using Remind or you're using both, and LMS plus Remind, you could give them directions on that. And then finally, y'all, this is the most crucial part of the packet. I wanted them to see in writing anything that the rest of the students had done that I needed them to catch up on. For example, we're in the middle of, reading a novel. They're not going to be able to start from page 1, but is it something where they could join us in the middle? Could I have them read Spark Notes? Could I have them then, we're on chapter 10. I want you to read Spark Notes, get caught up to chapter 10, and then you're going to start chapter 11 with us? Yes, I could do that. Is there, again, a packet they need to go back and do that everybody's got to know? Whatever it was, I might extend, as I said here, I might extend the deadlines or not. Or they could have shown up just on the perfect day where I can put them in a group and they can start a real activity with us. Whatever it is, I clearly listed right here, this is what I'm expecting you to do, and this is when it's due. That part I felt like was the most beneficial. And then down here, I gave them contact information. Again, LMS is much better now. They don't need all this information, but give them some kind of contact information and then have them find a reliable friend. You may have to point them in the direction of who's reliable just on the first day. But I think it's really important that they know somebody in the class in addition to you that can give them some help. What else was in the packet? Y'all, we believe, or we try, we trust, we think that students can handle what to do if they are having trouble at home, but they just really don't, or what to do if they're absent. So I added, in addition to anything they might have needed to support this makeup work, I also added these notes as a separate page. What do I do if I have trouble with work at home? This may seem obvious, but it's not. Read the directions again. Check your agenda. Check the handout, okay? Then ask a friend or two. Again, up here, they've got that reliable friends information. And then number 3, I would tell them to email me. Now, here's my tip for you, and you may have a different thought on this. I am not sitting at home with bated breath waiting for students to email me in the middle of the night. Actually, I used to avoid my email like the plague. If there was going to be anything stressful, I did not want it to take up my evening or my weekend. I'm just telling the truth. But it showed responsibility. If they at least tried to email me, it showed me, hey guys, you've made an effort. You couldn't get this turned in or whatever, but here's a copy of it in your email. So what's so cool is it was teaching them personal responsibility. I would tell them, don't expect me to answer you in the middle of the night. However, if I have it waiting in my inbox, I'm going to be really proud of you for trying to get help. And then finally, I gave them some absent procedures. Okay, what do you do if you're absent? Check the website. Make a list of missed work in your agenda. Then here's where my handouts are. Now, again, they would be on an LMS. I keep saying that, but y'all, my teachers that I train every day to use the LMS, if you are one of those, or if you haven't thought about these things, life can be so much easier when we have this electronic place to store stuff. Okay, so nowadays I would have this all in a module. And then finally, I would remind them that they need to schedule an appointment for any missed tests or quizzes, and also what is our, absent policy? That would be according to your school. But guys, isn't this cool? And it took me 11 years to think of it. I used this, I think, the second semester of my last year teaching. And so I'm trying to spread the word here and say, if this would help you for students that have joined your class late, which I think it would, adapt it, steal it. I'm going to share it on my blog post tomorrow. And then finally, as a bonus for you, I want to show you something that I created actually for a class I taught last summer. It was called Mastering Modules. It was based on Canvas, which is and you're going to hear doors, guys. You're hearing crickets and doors. We are doing a lot of work on our house right now. And so the doors don't shut properly because we had our foundation lifted. So you're going to hear doggies and all different kinds of stuff. So I apologize for the noise that you might hear. Anyway, I taught a class this summer, and as I was having teachers learn how to use modules in Canvas, so I want you to think about, you may not be a Canvas user, but if you're using any kind of an online platform, module is probably a familiar term to you. It's like the different folders or different units that you can place inside of an online course. And so as I was teaching them modules, they were like, Suzy, there are certain things that we feel like are not obvious to students, that if we were going to do any of Canvas with our students, they would need to know that. So what I did is, as it says right here, I made a module that you could use that actually teaches students how to learn online. Now, our district is not an online learning district except for a few courses that we're developing currently, but we're mostly a blended learning district. But still, even if they're going to blend, even if you're going to have them just do online learning every once in a while, they need to know that. So let me just quickly, if I could talk, walk you through what I'm going to give you as a special gift tonight. Okay. First of all, I had a little thing that just tells them, hey, you're about to take a module that's going to help you learn how to learn online. And I've given sources for everything where I borrowed stuff, okay? So I developed some tips for online etiquette, and including about tone and privacy and different things like that. That's included there. How to manage your time. Oh my, if you've been to college, then you know that this is very valuable. So I, again, borrowed some ideas, but put them in my own words. And so how do you manage your time in an online course? I also included how to get help. Okay. And yes, of course, I have Bitmoji throughout. So if you borrow this, you can totally change it. How do you know if you're done with a module? Okay. A lot of times teachers will have things open in new tabs. So what in the world does the new tab mean? And then I even have a little quiz that'll help them review or be accountable for what they learned. And then they can earn a badge for being an online learning ninja. Okay, I can't preview this for you because I'm the teacher. It won't let me earn my own badge. Okay, and then that is getting into something that is not for the students. But anyway, so this module called Online Learning 101, I'm going to share with you to the Commons. I'm going to post it tonight. Now, I do have a Christian blog that I go live on in about 5 minutes. So I will not be able to post this until after that. But if you are a user of Canvas, you can go search the Commons, search for my name, which is spelled with an EY. Okay. So if you go to search here and you type in Suzy Lolley, and you will find this in just a little bit. It's called Online Learning 101. And maybe you'll find some other little treats there if you are a Canvas user. If you're not a Canvas user, this might pull like even into a Moodle course. So just leave me a comment over in the Facebook Live window and I'll see if I can get you an export. Now the point of me showing you all that, let me go back just a step, is if I were teaching today new students, I would take this Online Learning 101 and I would add some of the stuff from my new student packet, such as how to take your own attendance, give a copy of the syllabus. You see how all this could blend together? What's turnitin.com and how can you set up your account? I didn't put that over here because I was making this for like where every teacher could use it. But guys, an LMS will do all of this for you. But if you're in a district that doesn't have a lot of technology, that doesn't mean you can't help your new students. The packet, I hope, again, helps get you thinking in a new direction. So friends, it's been lovely tonight. If you enjoyed what I shared, again, I post the blog the night after I go live. So Wednesday at 8 p.m., I'm always posting a corresponding blog. If you go follow me tonight at SuzyLolley.com, then you can also go ahead and be signed up for this to come in with my resources tomorrow. And this is going to be tacky just for a minute, but if you go to the top of my, hey Beth, if you go to the top of my Facebook Live window, you're going to see a thing that says if you scan the code, you can sign up for your subscribing blog, and I'm going to send you a free gift for doing that, which is my 10 favorite Breakout EDU puzzles. I hope it's been lovely. I will see you again next Tuesday.